Welcome to tonight's coaching video, gentlemen. I've got a fantastic story for you tonight. You are going to love this. This is from Vogue, reputable news site, according to which side you're on. Regardless, this is an article about a feminist who hit her 30s and suddenly realized that she needs a man after all. And unfortunately, now all of her friends that she grew up with, all of her little girlfriends, are all married off while she is the last single person in the group and feeling more and more hopeless and demoralized about finding a man. You just cannot make this stuff up, fellas. So let's jump into her story, shall we? Again, this one's from Vogue, and the title of it is, How Did I Become the Last Single Person in My Friend Group? It's by Carly Sciortino. I think that's Italian. But here she is right now. Here's Carly. And you can tell that she is definitely in her mid to late 30s. I am going to guess probably on the cusp of 40 almost, just based on the fact that her eyes are sinking into her skull, which is common when you start to hit your 30s, right? You don't have that voluptuousness to your face any longer like you did in your 20s, right? And that's really the sign of fertility as well, right? Is you have that voluptuousness in your face as a female that sends off a message to guys that, hey, I'm still young and I'm still impregnatable. But you can see here she's heading towards her late 30s here, unfortunately for her. So let's roll into her story, shall we? This is just brilliant. I am officially the last single person in my friend group. How did this happen? Oh my goodness, how did this happen? Right? They're always like, these chicks always wake up once they turn 30 like, hey, I'm still single. How did this happen? Where did time go? It feels like just yesterday, but I tell you, we were being rejected from Raya. And now, this must be a club, and now suddenly everyone is scouting for wedding venues upstate except me. I'm starting to realize how different and freakish being single in your 30s feels. And that's really a great description for being a single female in your 30s. You start to kind of feel like a freak. Right?
It's lonely, isn't it, Nick? When you're a freak.
And it doesn't help that our 30s is also the decade where we spend so much of our time and money celebrating other people's coupledom. Because, of course, I want to spend Labor Day weekend manual inflating a 6-foot blow-up penis, drinking a month's rent worth of rose, and pretending to be happy for Karen. When I was younger, I took it for granted that my friends would always be available for hungover brunches and emergency threesomes. Oh my goodness. I feel bad for the dudes who married her friends. Their chicks were just running amok out there with so many sexual partners. It's sad. But now, seeing my friends usually means being the one single person amid a mob of couples who treat me either like hired entertainment, tell us a funny Tinder story clown, or their problem child. For instance, for years now, my friends and I have spent summer weekends at a shared beach house on Fire Island. There are 3 bedrooms and 1 pull-out couch, and suddenly this year, I kept being demoted to the couch so that the couples could have their privacy time. Excuse me, but do single people don't need privacy? I get that they want to have sex on their vacation, but where am I supposed to jerk off? Yeah, very, very classy. I mean, this chick is Jezebel to the core. Just listening to her talk, the fact that she's had threesomes, yeah, that's every man's dream. A late 30s, feminist who has a 6-foot blow-up penis in her closet and has done threesomes. Oh yeah, every guy's dream, every high-value guy's dream. Man, talk about fantasy land. This is my vacation too, people. There's no other way to look at it. I am a hashtag victim of couple privilege. Of course, you're always a victim. As a millennial feminist, 2 words you never want to hear put together. Millennial feminist, guys. Run if you ever hear this. As a millennial feminist, allow me to run with this victim thing. Last week, I had a new air conditioner delivered, only to realize that it was too heavy for me to carry up 4 flights of stairs to my apartment. That's another thing, just quick side note, is when you don't get married in your 20s, when you don't find that high-value man who will marry you off and put you in a nice home, in a gated community, in a suburb, guess what? You're going to stay living in the city with all these younger girls running around in your crap studio apartment that you're likely paying $4,000 a month for because you live in a major city because you're a leftist. So you're going to be paying $4,000 a month for that while looking out your window down on the street at homeless people taking a dump by your car. And enjoy. And every time you come home and leave your apartment, it's going to smell like piss, poop, or you're going to be walking over needles. Trust me, I grew up in the city, and that's a lot of these chicks that are still out there, didn't settle in their 20s, believe me, that's their lifestyle, son. So, going on with her story. So, being single, I had to hire a random man from the internet to carry it for me. Another thing that you have to do when you choose to stay single in the 20s, 21 forever. Always getting into clubs for free. Yeah, good luck with that. So she had to hire a man from the internet, I'm guessing Craigslist, to carry it up the stairs for her. So, I mean, imagine you're being hired to go to this chick's house and simply just carry it up. Unbelievable. Why? Because she doesn't have a man. And even that guy was thinking like, should have settled in your 20s, especially if he's watched the 33 Secrets. Then I had to hire a different man to install it for me, only to have that man explain that I'd bought an AC with the wrong voltage for my building. She bought an AC with the wrong voltage, guys. Unbelievable. I mean, these chicks think they could just walk right into Home Depot and pick the prettiest box and bring it home, and it will just work. Why? Because I'm special. I'm special. Okay, when I told this story to my mom, she responded with a sigh. See, this is why you need a boyfriend, dear. Air conditioners, broken toilets, a raccoon in the basement. That all becomes your man's problem. True to an extent, right? True to an extent. I mean, I haven't lived in an apartment building with a girlfriend in a while. I mean, back in the day when we did, I would do those things. I would be like, oh, this is broken, but usually you could just call the maintenance guy. They come fix it. But she wouldn't know, like, how to articulate what was going on with the sink or the toilet or the shower. So I'd tell her verbatim, this is what you tell him. Sometimes she'd write it down. Then she'd call the leasing office and be like, hey, my boyfriend says this, and this is wrong. It's wrong. You need to come fix it. But had she not had me at the time, she would have been completely screwed. And now that same chick I'm thinking about was my ex from 2000. She's living in a very dangerous part of the East Bay in California. Call it Hayward. And she's having to do all this nonsense by herself. And she's still, like, literally living in an apartment, townhome, condo type environment. So very sad. That all becomes their problem. But it's not just being single suddenly feels alienating in your 30s. It's also that dating itself becomes more difficult. For one, the stakes are higher. You don't want to waste your time on someone who doesn't feel like they could be the one. Like I keep telling these chicks, that ship has sailed. That ship sailed the day that you turn 30. No more of these like, I'm looking for the one. That ship has sailed. But simultaneously thinking, would he make a good dad? Why is this chick even thinking about getting pregnant in her 30s, man? Do you know how dangerous it is to get pregnant in your 30s? You might still think you're young, like, you can still get pregnant in your 30s. Look up the statistics on that. Okay, I'm always looking at these statistics because in case somebody ever calls me out on them, which I often do, I have my statistics to back me up. You're more likely to have a miscarriage, more likely to have birth defects, more likely to have a difficult pregnancy, more likely to have twins and miscarriages, you name it. But she's one of these feminists, got sold on that lie, and I can't believe she still calls herself a feminist. What an idiot. It's like being a slave, right? Being tricked into being a slave your whole life, and then finally, you start to see light bulb moments and you try to escape the plantation, but yet you're still proud to be a slave. Nah, dude. You should be giving the finger to that. All right, so she says, you don't want to waste your time on any guys that unless they could be the one, but simultaneously thinking, would he make a good dad? After knowing someone for the duration of a martini makes you feel like an insane rom-com cliche type of a woman. Not ideal. Well, that's what you are, though. Essentially, we are far more discriminating in our 30s than we were in our 20s. True, which is both a blessing and a curse, she says. Also true. We know more about what we want in our 30s and what we won't tolerate. Oh, we won't tolerate this. Honey, you have no more bargaining chips in your 30s. Understand that, girls. Your bargaining days, your leverage is well behind you. Those days are gone. You are the 35, 40-year-old NFL running back. You should just be happy if some team wants to take you on, stick you in a backup role as a third string emergency backup running back, or put you on the practice squad. You should just be happy with that because your best days are behind you. Why does society continue to lie to these chicks? It drives me nuts, man. Stop lying to these girls, man. And then they find out the truth from a channel like mine. Then they get all pissed, even though they could see it for themselves and they're feeling it and they're living this for themselves. It's like, dude, I think it was Thomas Sowell who said, when you've given somebody preferential treatment their entire lives, the thought of equal treatment sounds like discrimination. Remember that. Thomas Sowell. I'm a big fan. Okay. So she's saying we know more what we want in our 30s, but to a point where almost no one is good enough. Thank you. That's why you see all these harpies in their 30s on these dating apps. Or he was nice, but he sleeps in a mezzanine bed. Unbelievable. And this perpetual dissatisfaction is especially true in New York, where inflated egos are paired with incredibly high standards and the illusion of infinite choice. That cliche of thinking someone better might just be around the corner is real. What did I tell you guys? She just said it herself. These chicks over 30. I said it on my channel almost 3 years ago. Anyone over 30 who's still single, okay, overwhelmingly is damaged goods. DG. Period. Why are they DG? Because they have shiny object syndrome. That is the biggest trait of a woman who cannot settle down. She has shiny object syndrome. She cannot just be like, this man is good. We get along well enough. He's good for me, and I want to cash in my chips, and I don't want to keep playing this out. I always go back to the casino analogy, right? Because I go to Vegas a lot. I go back to the casino analogy, and I used to gamble a whole lot back in the day. You don't know when to cash in your chips, right? And I've had friends like this, too, that I used to gamble with back in the day. Don't know when to cash in their chips. Some of these guys needed to go to GA, Gamblers Anonymous, right? Because back in the day, we were trying to get rich gambling because we didn't want to have to work. Right? We thought we could get rich gambling, being 21 and stupid. So I had friends that I remember I had this one Asian friend. He would win like 10 grand in one pot. 10 grand. I'm like, dude, cut it. Let's go. Let's leave winners. He's like, no, I think I could get 20. I think I could double this, And then he would leave with nothing, and I would basically have to buy this guy lunch, right? And then his credit card companies started coming after him. I'm like, dude, you don't know when to walk away. That's the thing, right? As my grandmother used to say, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. right? You can't be too greedy, son. And these chicks who are over 30 and out there, that's their problem. They were too greedy, right? A lot of these girls weren't bad looking, right? This chick, she's like she's not very attractive to me, but I'm sure back in the day she was more attractive and she could have got somebody. Now, forget it. Especially with, and what really shoots them in the foot is the fact that their qualifications are just completely delusional, right? They're like so ostentatious. It's just laughable. Especially for the fact that they have nothing to bring to the table. It's like they have all these demands, yet they don't have anything to give you. It's like, I want all these things from you. You give me this, that, and this. Okay, what do you bring to the table? Me? No. Right? No. That's why I say in your 20s, you still have leverage, ladies. You have your eggs. You have that youth. You know, you're fertile. That's the value trade. You see? That's the value trade. Right? I mean, my girl right now, we've been together, we've been dating each other almost 3 years, right? She didn't start out full time to begin with. I had a dating rotation, but she eventually became that because she proved herself. And now, you know, she's on the cusp of turning 21, but I mean, she's given me a lot of her 20s so far. And if she goes, you know, the rest of the way and we're still together, then I would not feel bad going the rest of the way with her because she's a cool chick and she's, you know, I was with her through her 20s. She gave me all of her best years. I'm okay. I'm all right with that because there was a huge trade-off, right? She didn't waste her good years on me. I mean, we're getting along and things are going great. But these chicks, no. They stay out there. And my girl knows she could go out there and run, you know, just completely run amok if she wanted to. She's a hot chick. She's, you know, 20 years old, easily run amok. And she doesn't because she knows better, right? Now, her father taught her. Now she has me. I'm teaching her, right? And she sees all of these chicks. She sees me pull down these TikTok videos of these 40, 50-year-old women. It freaks her out. She's like, I never want to be that. She sees the 50-year-old haters I get sending me hate mail on Christmas. She read some of those. She's like, it's so sad. These chicks are, she's like, I never, ever, ever want to be there. I never want to be like them. And I'm like, stick with me, kid. You won't. Right? But these chicks, they're just too full of themselves and constantly thinking they could get a better guy. But in any case, let's go on with her story. Sometimes I think I should have picked someone when I was 25 and stupid and then just made it work. Yes! 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 That's what you should have done. Unbelievable. But I keep turning corners and I keep meeting finance guys with high cholesterol who just discovered Williamsburg. Sigh. Unbelievable. Dude, get over yourself. I mean, this chick wants like some scholar to boot. The catch is, as we become increasingly picky, the pool of soulmates keeps getting smaller. Here's another 30s development. Now, when I meet a cute guy, he's often already married. Well, yeah, because that's called a high-value man. You know who he married? He didn't marry someone like you. He married a high-value female. Someone who's submissive, feminine, nurturing, comes home, isn't out at the clubs on the weekend. That type of chick. Just recently, I feel like I was truly connecting with my orthodontist. I mean, he's literally been putting his fingers in my mouth for 6 months, only for him to drop last week that he has a wife. I feel misled. Dude, the fact that she's hitting on her orthodontist, give me a break. She's like, I feel misled. It's not your orthodontist's job to tell you he's married. Did you not see the ring? This past weekend, I was commiserating about 30 Single Dome with my friend Steve, a 35-year-old TV producer who lives in Chicago. Okay, I'm really going to be misogynistic for a minute. Steve told me, from the phone, but I think that women, even if they are modern and feminist and independent or whatever, this is Steve talking, still feel pressure to get married and grow up in that specific Disney lifestyle kind of way. So the women who are my age-ish, Steve says, who are still single, right? Remember, this guy's 35, are kind of the effing leftovers. He must have seen some 33 Secrets videos, guys. They're the people who couldn't get their crap together, and they're kind of crazy. Steve knows. Steve's got some red pill knowledge. Believe me, I know because I've dated them all. So he knows from experience. While Steve acknowledges that his whole life thing is unquestionably harder for women, yup, he's right again. He says that guys also suffer through the 30 single shift. Yeah, they do because they're still blue pilled, because they don't have this knowledge, because they're not in mastery. 7 Months Mastery, click the link below. So, Steve goes on to say, in your 30s, everything has become more segregated, he mused. Couples hang out with other couples. People with babies hang out with other people with babies. Eventually, you stop being invited to dinner parties or on the vacations, because why would you want to be on holiday with a bunch of people who are shacking up together? You know, a bunch of married people. Steve sees this clan-like behavior creeping into the workplace as well. At my age, people seem to trust you more if you're in a relationship because you seem more stable. True, if you're going for a job, you just look way more stable if you're married. I'm a freelancer, so I'm constantly having to sell myself to new people. And now, when I tell them I'm single, I just get this look that says, what happened? Okay, Steve's still a little blue pill, man. I mean, it is so different being a guy who's single. I mean, back, even just a decade ago, we didn't have all this RP information, right? So a lot of guys thought, oh, I'm just like a female. Oh, I'm screwed. No, you're not, dude. You're not. Because as you get older, you get better. As women get older, it just gets worse for them, right? Because their entire, their entire value is tied to their youth and attractiveness, which dwindles as they get older. The thing that scares me the most, Steve went on, is thinking about the future. I recently had a 60-year-old Uber driver who wasn't married and had no kids. He was like, yeah, I just drive Uber around passing the time. And Steve was like, I don't want to be that. I want to be surrounded by people who love me when I'm old, not making small talk with strangers, then going home to crack a can of tuna and get on Reddit. I'd rather be dead. He paused for dramatic effect. Maybe all the people who are biased against single people are right. Maybe there is something wrong with us. No, there's something wrong with females. As a guy, you should be spending your 20s trying to get your finances in order, finding your path and purpose, just trying to mature as quickly as you can, and trying to stack as much cash as you can, right? To financially be secure when you head into your 30s, and you can get those better jobs. You should have more job experience by your 30s, and then you can start to accelerate financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, while women decelerate. Okay, you're going to start to accelerate. That's why you're going to have access to a larger pool of dating options, right? As far as ages go, you'll be able to date women in their late teens, their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, easily, right? You're going to have this vast pool of options if you do the right thing. Right, but Steve here, he needs to get some more education because he's still living back in the late 90s, early 2000s, before this information was really out there. So he goes on to say, if you asked me 2 years ago about having a family, I would have been like, ew, why would I have kids when I could devote my life to more important things like blogging and attending mediocre sex parties? Are all these demons like part of the same orgies? But now I'm like, I'm too lazy to go out. Maybe I should start a family. I guess biology is real. Yup. There comes a point at which eating steak alone at Le Bourredin and winking at strangers no longer feels exciting. I guess it's a nice steak restaurant. And you'd rather actually connect with another human being on a deeper level than I'm drunk and you're in front of me. And one thing that I definitely don't want is to hit 35 and enter a uterus panic mode. Dude, Steve was looking good for a second. Now he's sounding like a chick. In 2010, Lori Gottlieb authored the polarizing bestseller Marry Him, The Case for Settling for Mr. Good Enough. Sounds like a good book to me. The book is an account of Gottlieb's experience as a single woman approaching her 40s. Gottlieb argues that compromises are essential components of relationships. You think, ladies? You think? Man, these chicks, again, with the culture we have right now, constantly just propagating these women and just filling them with loads and loads of hogwash and lies about themselves and telling them how flawless they are and what great people they are when they're not. Okay, most of these chicks, like I said, modern women, most of them are just very rude, classless, and have poor manners. Especially towards other humans, especially towards men. So she says, both when we're in them and we're navigating the dating world. We'll never get everything we want, Miss Gottlieb says. So if having a family is important to you, at a certain point you just have to pick someone and procreate. Well, no, you have to be a little more careful, dumbass. You don't want to be that impulsive. That's why I keep telling, like, the chicks in their 20s, the ones I meet, the ones in my family, the ones who follow me on social media, yo, use your 20s to find that man, right? You should be using your 20s to find that man like your life depends on it, because you're at the height of your bargaining power, right? You're at the height of your power. Take advantage of it. This is the best you're ever going to be able to get in your 20s. If you wait until after that, don't expect anybody to play the violin for you. So she goes on to say, basically, don't be in denial about the fact that your marital value is higher in your 20s and early 30s. And the longer you hold out for Mr. Right, the smaller your chances of actually finding him or even someone good enough are. All true. But the fact that she said your early 30s, no. Because really, I always tell you guys, man, I'm surrounded by a lot of high-value guys, especially in my entrepreneurs group. The ones that are single, I mean, even the ones that are married, right? These guys, none of these guys are married to women their own age. They're all younger, right? They're all much younger than him. All much younger than them. There's like a guy in his 50s right now. I was the last guy I was thinking about. I mean, yeah, and he's with a girl who's in her, I think she's like in her 30s, her early 30s. But I mean, probably met her in her 20s, but don't wait until then. Your guys high-value guys don't like hearing that you're in your 30s. They want to hear 20s. They want some of that, right? They want some of that. They want some of that exchange in value because they're giving you a lot of value. They're a high-value dude. You have to have something to exchange. And it's going to be your looks and your fertility, your youth. That's what you're going to be able to exchange to get the guy that you want, right? Of course, that sounds unromantic and literally terrifying, but part of me appreciates the harshness of it. Similarly, I've recently become obsessed with clinical psychologist Dr. Jordan Peterson's YouTube channel. Wow, this is a feminist watching. One of his common sentiments, and I'm paraphrasing this, is, women, I know we live in a modern society where you are told to prioritize your career and put off marriage and family until later, but the reality is, just because you're a woke feminist with a trendy loft apartment who's passionate about her career doesn't mean that you've somehow transcended your biology. Exactly. You're not a superhero. You don't have a cape. Most people, women especially, who don't end up forming a family unit will live to regret it. Not long ago, I would have brushed this off as misogynistic, but I'm starting to wonder if that's simply a cop-out because I'm afraid of dealing with this harsh reality. I'm literally cringing while typing this, but I also think a lot of people, particularly people in creative fields whose professional lives have less predictable trajectories, see themselves as always on the brink of making it. Like, well, my career is just about to take off, after which I'll be rich and famous, and then I'll have access to better, hotter people. No, ladies. No. And this is where society gives you that big fat lie that all of you dumbasses have bought into. That, oh, look, I'm going to make my own money, pay my own bills, have my corporate job, and guys are going to be all over me. We don't care about that. Okay? We don't care. That's the last thing we care about. We will marry the Burger King girl. Okay? We will marry the In-N-Out chick. Okay? We will marry the Del Taco girl. We don't care, over you who's the CEO of some company. Because the younger girl, The Taco Bell chick is hotter, right? That's all. We don't care about the money, right? We don't care about that. You guys are idiots. You've all been lied to. You act like dudes. It's so sad. These chicks have no self-awareness. They can't see what they're doing wrong. So she goes on to say, I have been quietly thinking that to myself for 10 years. And while I don't think my career is going poorly, if you asked me at 25 what I would be doing at 31, I would have said that I had already written a best-selling book and made a movie. And while those things are still on my to-do list, my older, more realistic self has to acknowledge that they actually might not ever happen. You think? We all will likely end up being more mediocre than we thought. This magical pool of super boyfriends might never manifest. Yup, because we don't care about your money. We know we're never going to see a dime of it because women are the cheapest creatures on the planet. Right? We know you're never going to give us money. You're never going to buy us things for free without some type of exchange. We know this. So we don't care. All we care about is how young and how hot you are. Right? And then beyond that, are you cool to hang out with? If you got those three things, young, hot, and cool, we're marrying you. We're going to marry you. That's it. That's it. Those are requirements. Those three things for guys. Young, hot, and cool. Done. But you chicks, oh my goodness, man. It's like you guys are well beyond the wall, well over the age of 30, and nobody's even looking at you anymore. High-value men don't pay attention to you. You can't get in the clubs free anymore. Society, you're starting to become invisible to society. And yet, you're here creating this list of demands for yourself. Unbelievable. So she's saying, we all likely end up being more mediocre than we thought. The magical pool of super boyfriends might not ever manifest. And at this rate, if and when they do, most of them will already be married. That's right, because that's what super boyfriends marry. They marry super girlfriends. Essentially, what that means is girls who are young, hot, and cool. That's all we want. We don't want old, loud, and mouthy. We don't want that. Okay? When will you guys get that straight? Guys don't want old, loud, and mouthy. We want young, hot, and cool. Period. I suppose that what I'm acknowledging here is that I'm encroaching on leftovers territory. You are in leftovers territory. What are you talking about? However, I would argue the leftovers are not always crazy, but often are the women who refuse to subscribe to the Disney Fox happy ending, who therefore lead more interesting and strange lives. So maybe I will end up settling to some degree. You better, because each day that passes by, is her name Karen? Each day that passes by, Karen, your value continues to decrease. Every second, every minute, every week, every month. The longer you wait, the lesser type of guy you can get. Okay? I'm not going to lie to these chicks like society and all these politicians. I'm going to tell the truth. But in the meantime, I'll just keep eating steak alone and RSVPing to orgies. This chick is sick. This chick is sick. Nobody wants a chick who's going to orgies. This chick is going to be 60 and single. She should just turn it in and just live out her life the way that she has been living it as a 304. Oh, and I should probably freeze my eggs. No, don't freeze your eggs. That's creepy. Don't. These girls freezing their eggs these days, these modern women. How would you like to be born one day, guys, or like to grow up to be an adult and to find out you were a frozen embryo in some lab sitting there with other eggs waiting to hatch? No. Right? You don't want to be part of that. Regardless, that's her story, guys. As always, let me know your comments below. Let me know what you think of her story. It's very sad. This chick is, she's clearly DG. She's damaged. She's like going to orgies. I won't even date somebody who does that. That's disgusting to me. That's just disgusting, repulsive behavior. And any good guy, any high value guy would not want to touch this chick with a 10-foot pole. But leave your comments below. Let me know what you think of her story, what she had to say, anything you'd like to add, anything I might have missed. Drop them in the comments below, and I'll see you there. And with that said, I'm going to wrap up here.
Until next time, this is M from the 33 Secrets. Do not forget to smash that like button right now. Do it now. More importantly, guys, make sure that you hit that notification bell as well so that you're notified whenever I upload a brand new coaching video to my YouTube channel, but also whenever I go live. A lot of you guys have been like, hey, Em, I don't know when you go live. And then I found out the next day you were live and I missed the whole thing. This is why you gotta make sure you hit that notification bell as well for the 33 Secrets so you are notified whenever I do a live stream. And I tend to do these live streams just on the fly whenever I feel like it. Okay, those tend to be the best ones. And on those live streams, you can ask me questions. And I answer a lot of guys' questions for free. So you wanna make sure you hit that notification bell as well. That way you're notified whenever I do a live stream and whenever I upload a brand new coaching video here to my channel. Okay, so make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And for all of you guys who want to support my work and all of this red pill, gold pill, platinum pill content that I'm teaching you even further, the best way to do that is by jumping into my monthly online coaching program, 7 Months to Mastery, where I'm teaching guys just like you how to go out there and approach and close the youngest, hottest, and most beautiful looking women on the planet. I'm talking about 8s, 9s, and 10s, the same exact type of women that myself and all of my coaching students all around the world are constantly and consistently cold approaching and cold closing every single day, every single week, and every single month all over the world. I kid you not. That is how powerful this skill is. Learning pickup, learning game. This is a skill that you can use not only to bring 8s, 9s, and 10s, beautiful women, very attractive women into your life, but it's a skill that you can use in every other aspect of your life. Whether you want to get into better shape, you can game yourself. Whether you want to get a better job, a better career, you could use these skills as well. I was able to get 6-figure corporate jobs with Fortune 100 companies. I beat out hundreds of candidates to get these jobs, all thanks to my pickup and game skills. I was able to build a very successful business using my pickup and game skills, doing what I love. And now here I am acquiring other businesses, negotiating with other entrepreneurs for their businesses and their e-commerce sites and websites, cash flowing sites, using my pickup and game skills. It's like $1 billion skill at this point. It's that powerful. Okay, so you can not only use it to gain the lifestyle that you want, beautiful cars, beautiful houses, beautiful women, but you could use it to just take yourself to another level. Okay, that's how powerful this stuff is. So right now, it's only $1 for the entire first month of coaching lessons from me in 7 Months of Mastery. So take advantage of it. It's really easy to get signed up. All you need to do is click that link below. It will take you over to my website where you can get signed up right now. It just takes 2 seconds. And like I said, it's the best way to support me in what I'm doing here. So if you want to support me, that's the best way to do it. Jump into 7 Months of Mastery. It's only $1. Click the link below. Take you over to my website and you can get signed up right now. It takes 2 seconds. So do that now and I will see you in my next coaching video. Signing out with the DeLorean. So many of you guys are like, hey, why are you always traveling? Shoot at home, shoot at home. So here I am shooting at home, but I'm about to travel in about a week, so I'll be gone for a month. So trying to shoot as many as at home as possible, so you guys stop asking me this question. Like, shoot more at home. Why are you always traveling? That's what you do when you live the life. You travel, you live it like a rock star.